Hello and welcome. My name is Nicholas Clichy. I'm the developer of School of Magic, and today I want to talk to you about what School of Magic is, where it came from, and going a little bit into the strategy. But this is not a strategy guide. So, first of all, what is School of Magic? So, School of Magic basically is how I really wanted Diablo 2 to be. And what were my issues with Diablo 2? Well, my real problem with Diablo 2 was the end of game grinding for gear. I really enjoyed the leveling system and thinking about my build and thinking about how can I make this character better, and trying out different builds also, like for different classes. I really enjoyed all that, but I really disliked the grinding part at the end. So it fell flat for me very quickly because you could try out a couple of different builds and then you pretty quickly saw if it's fine or good. And then maybe obviously if you grinded for gear you could make it a lot better, or it maybe would have gotten worse. But I wasn't really interested in putting hours and hours into just to find out if the build works. So I basically, how I played it was I built a couple of characters up and then took a look, do they work? Kind of or kind of not, and then stopped playing Diablo 2. And this game tries to fix that problem, or at least the problem for me. Maybe you are similar to me. That would be hopefully that is the case, because if not, if you really like the grinding, then School of Magic won't be for you, that's for sure. So to achieve that, I really had a problem though. So the first problem was that you will need to start over multiple times to actually try different builds, and not a lot of people like that. They more likely wanted to play the same character for a longer time. That's where actually the roguelike structure came in and helped. So with roguelikes, as you probably know, is you will die and you will start over again. So that actually really helps with the entire basic idea already. And then when I played Slay the Spire for the first time, I really got the feeling, oh, I can use a system like this with these card-based systems to actually make a randomized leveling system. Because the problem also was that if you just take the normal level tree from Diablo, and then it will not be interesting to try it over and over again, because you will always get the same decisions each time, so the game would fall flat relatively quickly. So that's the second part that was really needed for me, and it took me quite some time to figure this out. And this is the result basically that you will see here now. So this is a top-down game like Diablo 2. You can walk around like in Diablo 2 by clicking somewhere, and you can open the level up screen. So this is your first level up. In School of Magic, as I said, level ups are randomized. But at the first level up is a little bit different because you don't have any basic attack spells at the beginning. So the first two spells here will be basic attack spells, and the third spell here is just a random spell to give you more of a feeling of how this game, or how this run will go. So it gives you a little bit of information what might happen in the future, what spells you might get, and this might help you with your decision which spell to pick here. So first of all, let's go over the basic spells. So the basic spell here, this is a poison arrow, which deals 10 to 30 damage and poisons an enemy. And poison in this game is a little bit different, as you might know. Poison in this game makes enemies deal less damage by debuffing them for 5 seconds, and they deal 50% less damage. What you can also see here in the card is at the top left here, you see the mana cost, which is 35. Below that, here, you see the cooldown, which is 0.9 seconds. And at the middle right here, you see the current level of the spell. I will go into the level of the spell a little bit later on, but for now, you can ignore that. You can just see that there are, in these tooltips, you see that there are more information of what the next levels bring, but it's not really important right now for you. So that is that. And Infernal Strike is a more aggressive spell, which burns enemies. It deals 10 to 20 damage and burns enemies, costs a little bit more mana, is a little bit slower, but also deals more damage because it deals damage over time, and in this case it deals 4 to 8 damage 3 times, and it's every 1 second it deals this damage. So you have these two spells here, which are basically your basic attack spells. Basic attack spells are low cooldown, low mana cost, and low to mid damage, I guess. And this spell, in this case, this is a completely random spell, is another projectile spell, another attack spell from the poison path, but this debuffs all enemies in a certain range. So this actually means that we might be able to build a cool defensive build here. We have already 2 poison spells, so let's go ahead and pick this one. I'm going to say right now, it's not 100% sure that we will keep the spell, but you will see that once we level up some more. So I will go around here now and see if I can find some enemies. Before that I found a crate. I can destroy that. I will get some gold. You can see gold up here. Here you will see how many spells you can still pick, and here you will see your current level. If you want more information, you can also click here, and there's like a statistics screen with all kinds of statistics like life, armor and stuff, critical strike damage, chance, and if you hover over it, it will tell you a little bit more about the stat you're seeing here. Yeah, so I will go a little bit more around, and then at a certain point there will be more enemies, or the first enemy, I guess, and I got my next level up. So as you can see at the beginning, I'm getting level ups quite fast, and that is because I really want to have a lot of decisions at the beginning, and the focus of the game, as I said, is more on the leveling part and less on the combat part. The combat part is also not completely unimportant, but it's way less important. So, but because of that, I will go into what happened here. So now I can really explain what the leveling system is about. The leveling system, like after the first level, works like this. Of all the remaining cards, in this case these 2, one at random is chosen and removed from the game. So you can no longer pick this card. That's why it has this big X on it. The remaining cards, in this case only 1 card, later there will be more, we get a level up. As we saw before, we can now go over what means leveling up a spell. Level up makes the spell obviously stronger. So the spell in the current level deals 12 to 22 damage, and in level 3 it will actually deal 14 to 24 damage. It also, in this case, reduces the amount of mana it costs. You can see here it costs right now 37, and on the next level it will cost 34. It might also obviously reduce the cooldown. It can reduce basically anything. You just have to take a look at this pop-ups or tooltip windows, I guess, to see what it actually does. So higher level spells are obviously good, and then afterwards you get 3 new spells, right? So what that means is that with each level up you will have 1 more spell to choose from, which means you actually get to have, like, you can plan more strategically later on, because you already know more what's actually available to you. Also, at the beginning, it is more likely that a spell is removed at random. As you can see here, I really wanted this spell to get removed and keep this, but the RNG god, I guess, was not with me on this one, and so I got this one removed. You could have also have picked this spell at first and hoped to keep this one, and if not, then take this at level 2, which might be a good move or not. It depends really on if you like to go really deep into one strategy or mix and match these. So other than that, you can see here these are the remaining 3 spells. In this selection wheel, I will go over the selection wheel at a later point. You can also level up spells here and stuff, but like after the next level I will go over this. First I will go over the spells that are available here now. So you can see here, I actually don't need that selection wheel. Whenever an enemy dies, you increase your damage for 3 seconds by 15%, stacking up to 10 times. I really like this spell in a more aggressive build, obviously, because then I can kill enemies faster, and so I can get these stacks higher up, and then if I can really get them to stack 10 times, then 150% more damage is kind of nice. Loot back gives you gold. I will ignore this one for now. I will explain this in the next level up. Right now I think I want to take this one. This increases your damage by 3% whenever you level up. This is obviously a spell that you want to get early, because you will level up more often. But keep in mind that the higher the level is, the more the percentage, so it might also be worth it to wait. Like if I wait for one level, then I need to level up 3 times to already catch up to what I've gotten with this one, and then afterwards it will be better. But anyway, I want to pick this right now and continue the game. Yeah, as you can see here, by the way, the spells are up here, the passive spells, and all other spells, all non-active spells, let's put it like this. And the active spells are down here. You can see here, you can cast them with right click. You can drag them around. No, I don't want to delete them. You can drag them around to change their position, and then they will cast on a different key, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry. And yeah, if you want to destroy them, you can drag them out here, and then you can destroy the spell. You might want to do this because you can only have like these 6 active spells and not more. So if you have more, then that you, or if you would get more than that, you should probably remove one. So let's kill some more enemies here. Yes, nice. We already got another level up. As I said at the beginning, it goes very quickly. Actually, the loot bag was removed. Anyway, I will explain how gold works and why you might have wanted to pick the loot bag, which we don't know right now, but it's fine. So once again, we see from the remaining spells, one at random was picked. In this case, these were these 3 spells that were still remaining. The loot bag was removed. The remaining 2 got the level up. These are these. And we get 3 new ones, as I said. And now I want to explain this selection wheel here. So in the selection wheel, you have 3 options. You can either learn a spell, sell a spell, which always gives you 300 gold, or level up a spell. You already know what level up does, or what a level up does, but you really need to understand how much gold this costs. You can see in the middle here, this spell costs 100 gold, this spell costs 200 gold to level up, and this spell costs 300 gold. But why is that? That is because the leveling a spell up is for gold is calculated by taking the current level of the spell, which in this case is 3, and multiplying it by 100. If you hover over this a little bit longer, like now, you will already see that the formula is already here. So overall, there are quite a lot of tooltips in the game, so you should be able to get every information you need. Anyway, yeah. So this is basically a selection wheel, and now you might ask, why not sell all the cards? Well, first of all, you can only sell cards if you have 5 or more cards, or more than 4 as it stands here. And also, if you have less cards available to you, you can't really plan that well ahead. Because the more cards you have here, first of all, the more decisions you have, which is always good, so you can better react to what's actually going on. So if you like see, oh, I really need now to take less damage, so it's good if you already have something that can do that for you. Or if you need you really need to increase your damage because enemies are not dying fast enough. So it's always good to have like these options available to you. But it's also important because every level a random spell is removed, right? And the less spells you have, the more likely it is that if you have like 1 or 2 spells that you want to pick, that these spells are actually chosen. So the more options you have, you first of all have more options, and you also have like a higher chance of keeping the spells you really want to. We already went over these 2 spells because these were kind of easy. We also have this spell, which whenever an enemy takes damage, you increase the damage for 3 seconds by 5%, and it stacks up to 10 times. This works really well with the Infernal Strike, right? Because this does damage over time, so damage over time with this it's a lot easier to get this up stacking. So I think what I want to do here now is I actually want to take this spell now, because this is also like, this is a level 3 spell already, and I want to change my basic spell right now. I think that's fine. So this is like a little bit advanced of a strategy, but it's fine. You can already learn this, obviously. So sometimes it might be good to change your basic spell if the cards here dictate this to you, and it actually really does, because this is also better with an offensive build. We already have this here for an offensive build. The only defensive card we have is this one, and I don't really see a point in keeping this spell here, because the other card we got is just this one, which also deals more damage, by the way, it does it on level up, but it's not strictly a defensive card. I think it's more on the defensive side, because also the nature cards can give you more experience and stuff. But still, I still really feel like I should take now this spell. And because I want to use it as my default spell, I will put it here. I don't want to remove this one. Maybe I want to switch back, so I put it back here. But I don't really plan on using it at all. So now I changed my default spell, as you can see here. We probably will one-shot most enemies now. I don't know. We will see, depending on which enemies are coming. Oh, am I walking back? I don't know. There are some enemies. Oh, this is a stronger one. This one is actually a little bit annoying for the build I've chosen, because it has a Thorns ability that will always deal damage when he takes damage. So every time he takes damage, I will get some damage, but that's fine. I'm strong enough now. So I got to level up, and I hope, yes, that's nice, I can keep this card. That's what I really hope for. Oh, but I also have this. So now it actually, you will see now that it gets like way more complicated now. I will ignore like these two cards for now. These are also fairly strong, but these are just stat buffs, so I have enough stat buff spells here that I don't really need them. This is this actually buffs 2 stats, but still, I really don't want to think about these, because here I have an AoE spell, which is really important. Like, AoE spells in this game, later on, you will face a bunch of enemies, and then it's really important, like, to have these. But I also have this, which is like a very important spell, as we already discussed this, with the with this dot effect. So this is really good with the damage over time stuff, and this is really good on its own. I really want both of them, but I can't take both of them, and so I really need to think about how I do this. I have 300 gold right now, so maybe I level up this card one more, and what? This costs 200, so I can actually level this one then also. This is actually kind of tricky. So I think I will level up this card and take this one. And what I will also do is I will level this card up. I really don't want this card to be removed, so I don't want to sell any more cards. I really want to pick this card, and so I am risking right now by 100 gold and saying, it's only a 1 in 5 chance that this card will get removed, so hopefully it won't happen. And then I can actually be stronger. So, here we have our first event. So how do events work? Basically, outlined yellow things can be interacted with. You can go there and you can talk to them, or just get like some text like here. Usually there will be a decision, like it might be like a merchant, or it might be like here, just a decision you have to take, and often with decisions you will just get a card. So you can decide if you want to take this card or not, and this card says you gain 500 gold, but you receive 150% more damage until you killed 5 enemies. So this actually makes it so that you die way easier. It might be that I die if I take this, but 500 gold is quite a lot, as you saw before. I only had 300, so I think I take this card and see what happens. So I have this card now. You can see here now, if you hover over it, it will go big. It will once again tell you what it is. And the 5 here means that you need to kill 5 more enemies. It will go down to 0 and then it will be gone. So let's see if we can find some more enemies, because I really want to see what happens when I level up, if I'm getting my AoE spell or not, right? So let's kill these one. Oh, that's nice. Oh yes, I'm actually very strong. So as you can see here now, only 2 enemies are left. I think I got this early enough, so it's easy enough for me to survive this. Sometimes it's really hard, like if you get like a strong enemies like after that, you might like instantly die. But I think it's fine. I'm very strong. It's already gone. So, nice. We got the level up we wanted. And we got lucky. Nice. So everything works out perfectly fine for us. So I think I just take this. I don't want to spend like 300 gold to level it up one more time. So I have now this AoE spell. I will show you now how this works. I can go here. I can press 1. And I kill these 2 crates at the same time. You can see here now the cooldown. And one more thing for the cooldown, so you can't just wait until the cooldown runs out, because if you take too long, the level will be flooded with poison. And I mean, you can still theoretically get to the end of the level, even once the level is flooded, but it's really hard because you can't stand long on one place. Right now I actually want to die now because I want to show you the meta game, so I will just stand here and let me get killed off very quickly. So you can see here now that this is happening in a second. Do it now. Now? Okay. So I'm dead now. That's good. Because I want to show you the meta game. So the meta game basically works like this. So first of all, you can go here and you can basically get a spell that you can later use to build your deck a little bit better. As you can see here, I already unlocked some more spells. Usually you just start with 3, and if you pay 4 knowledge points, which are up here, which is the stuff the blue stuff you can get out of crates, you get 3 more spells. And so the longer you play, the more spells you can unlock and choose from to actually take on a run with you. And then once you have these unlocked here, you still need to learn them. In order to learn them, you will spend even more knowledge points, like as you can see here, 0 of 9, 0 of 9, 0 of 12. And you can basically take these, and I will show you what happens. So I will take this, wait, let me quickly see. Yeah, I think I take this one. I will take teleportation. So now I've learned teleportation if I click OK. So now I learned it. And how does all this work is you basically go to the deck editor here. So this is obviously also explained in the tutorial. And you can see here now that I actually got the teleportation spell. So I can put a teleportation spell here, but you can only put these number of rares in a deck. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can only put up to 9 rares in a deck and up to 4 legendaries. And you get these 2 collections as well. And so this deck editor basically is here instead of classes. So you can decide basically which spells you want to take with you and how you want to go for a run. So this is inspired by Magic the Gathering. And what these collections are is basically these are collections of common and uncommon cards. This is because if I didn't do it with collections, I would have like a huge number of cards you have to pick, and it would get way too messy and complicated. And so I group these common and uncommon cards together. So you always get a group, which also, by the way, includes the basic spells. As you can see here, there's no third collection available in the demo right now, but that's just because it's a demo. Yeah, so you have that, and you can see the different collections here. These obviously have already some synergies built into them, these collections, so you really need to decide if you have like inter-collection synergies and then fine-tune it with your rares and legendaries, basically. So in the end, I'm right now planning on having at least 6 collections available to you, and like 3 different classes or schools of magic. As I said, chaos, or maybe I didn't say it yet. There's like chaos, nature, and wisdom, I think. And you can see that by looking at the corners of the card. Let me see, like this. So here at the borders, I mean. So blue cards are basically the knowledge cards. Like cards with this wooden stuff are the nature cards, and black cards are the chaos cards. Yeah, so that's that. You can differentiate between the rarity by looking at the color, by the leveling thing here. Like this brown goldish color is for legendary cards, like this purple color is for rare cards, and these other ones, like as you can see here, is for common and uncommon. But I don't think it's really important to you if they are common or uncommon. This is just influences the likelihood of you getting the card during the draft. So rare cards will be less likely to show up, and legendary cards will be even less likely to show up. You still have like this, like you can imagine just shuffling the deck, but it will even be even rarer than we actually see it here. So it's not quite like shuffling the deck. So anyway, so I think that's it for now. I think you have like a good overview. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and thanks for watching Wishlist the game. You can also play the demo right now, School of Magic Prologue, and bye.